From gang wars to race wars, officials continue to manufacture gang violence in Virginia prisons. In a 2023 article, I outlined how officials manufactured gangs in Virginia's remote supermax prisons, Red Onion and Wallens Ridge, and instigated violence between them. I also demonstrated why this was done, namely, to justify the continued operation of these two expensive and demonstratively unneeded prisons. The name of that article was How Prison Officials Manufactured Gangs and Gang Wars in Virginia Prisons, which can be read on my website, RashidMOD.com, and also in the new book, edited by Joy James, titled Beyond Cop Cities. Not only are the same culprits still inciting violence between prison groups in Virginia prisons, but they are now perpetuating and inciting violence-prone racist white gangs against the now existing black gangs. As my earlier article showed, there were no gangs in Virginia prisons prior to 2004. In fact, there were no criminal gang laws on the books in Virginia at all prior to 2000. That's because there were no gangs in Virginia at the time. Officials in Virginia's prisons manufactured them, and it spread from there. Now they are busy facilitating the development of violent racist white gangs in the same prisons, again, where no such groups previously existed. Beginning in 2013, Virginia officials transferred numerous prisoners to other states who distinguished themselves for challenging and resisting abuse at Red Onion and Wallens Ridge. I was the first to be transferred in this manner in early 2012. My own transfer made Virginia officials' motives of placing problematic prisoners in racially hostile settings apparent. I was sent to Oregon, one of the only states where blacks are a minority in the prisons, and where there are some 13 different Aryan gangs. The object was clearly to set me up for violent conflict with the white supremacist gangs, which I wrote about in an article, Political Struggle in the Teeth of Prison Reaction, from Virginia to Oregon, which can also be read on my website, RashidMOD.com. Other Virginia prisoners were transferred to Colorado into a prison environment much like Oregon, but where white supremacist gangs were in open war against blacks. I recall corresponding with Pierre Watkins, a Virginia prisoner, identified black gang leader, and comrade of mine who was shipped to Colorado after he and several others at Red Onion joined the historic 2013 hunger strike with California prisoners who were protesting long-term solitary confinement. Pierre described to me how Colorado prison officials were enabling white supremacist gangs to attack and even kill black prisoners, and that Virginia officials had dropped them into an open race war there. Subsequently, other Virginia prisoners identified as black gang leaders were also sent to Colorado, including Kofi Doncourt, aka L.I., who described the violent race war Virginia deliberately inserted them into in Colorado in his article, Blood in the Clenched Fist Alliance, which can also be read on my website, RashidMOD.com. Virginia officials knew exactly what they were doing by putting us in these racially hostile environments. In fact, I was shipped between 5 different state prison systems from 2012 to 2021, and in each one was only housed in cell blocks with groups of confirmed Aryan and Latino gang members that are known to be hostile toward blacks. Not coincidentally, upon my return in 2021, I found an Aryan gang presence in Virginia's prisons where none had existed before. I learned that in my absence for a decade, Virginia officials had facilitated the development of in its predominantly white staff prisons, like Red Onion, Wallens Ridge, King Mountain, River North, and Augusta. But upon returning to Red Onion in October 2023, I saw what was now amiss. Prisoners from Colorado and Oregon, specifically ones belonging to actively violent Aryan gangs, were being interstate transferred to these Virginia prisons and put with Virginia's fledgling Aryan groups, who they were infusing with their own violent brand of anti-black politics. Worse still, I listened as Red Onion guards laughed and boasted about facilitating attacks by these white on black prisoners to create a race war between these groups. One such attack occurred on December 30th, 2023, on a Red Onion solitary confinement exercise yard. While on hunger strike at Red Onion, I was taken to a local hospital to receive intravenous fluid on January 4th, 2024. The 3 guards who transported me to the hospital, a sergeant named H. Lewis, a guard named R.O., and another guard named Short, exposed staff's role in that incident as they talked and laughed about how Red Onion officials knew this documented Aryan prisoner was plotting to stab several black Crips on the solitary exercise yard and had cut a hole in the yard's fence so he could crawl through and attack one of the targeted blacks. On the appointed day, Red Onion guards had deliberately moved the regular guards and canine officer from the area and assigned only rookie guards to the post. They said staff knew the fence had been cut and watched as the Aryan crawled through after the rookies had brought the black prisoner out in handcuffs. The Aryan then attacked and repeatedly stabbed the still handcuffed black prisoner as the rookies ran and guards in the gunpost shot their guns but deliberately missed the Aryan. They laughed about officials having allowed something similar to happen a decade earlier at Red Onion, when a white supremacist prisoner, Robert Gleason, was allowed to take a rope outside to the solitary confinement exercise yard at Red Onion and strangle a black crip to death through the fence. Gleason pled guilty and was executed during 2013 for this and another killing he was allowed to carry out on a targeted prisoner. Other prisoners revealed to me, as I also observed, that the Virginia Interstate Compact Office was bringing known violent Aryans to Virginia from Colorado, Oregon, and so on, and mixing them with Virginia's homegrown Aryans, allowing them to infuse the Virginia groups with their violent racial politics. At the center of this was one of the main orchestrators of the first wave of manufacturing gangs and gang wars in these remote prisons during and since 2005, who I identified in my prior article, James Bentley, who is now Red Onion's chief investigator and top so-called gang specialist. Whether it's gang wars or race wars, the ruling class and their armed enforcers have always been behind the scenes pulling the strings, playing the pull and the press against each other, divide, agitate, and rule. This is Captain Rashid Johnson coming to you from within America's Gulag Archipelago. Dare to struggle, dare to win. All power to the people.
These commentaries are recorded by Prison Radio.
We state these facts only to let you know that those of us who are revolutionary, Pan-Africanists, is not because we love revolution. It is historically determined, and we have no alternative but to follow history and to use history for the benefit of our people.